Hey folks, welcome back to Military Forces Unleashed. Today we're diving into a story that's equal parts mind-boggling, infuriating, and, against all odds, now officially on the table. In a stunning reversal, the U.S. Air Force is being directed to replace its aging E-3 Sentry AWACS fleet with the Navy's E-2D Advanced Hawkeye. Yes, the carrier-based turboprop with a tailhook and folding wings. This bombshell came straight from the 2026 defense budget under the new Trump administration, which just scrapped the E-7 Wedgetail program like it was yesterday's news. The E-3, that iconic flying radar dome based on the 707, has been the backbone of U.S. Airborne Command for nearly 5 decades. And now, the Air Force is being told to swap it for a slower, shorter endurance aircraft built for catapult launches, not transcontinental surveillance. Buckle up. This isn't science fiction. This is real, and it's already happening. Imagine replacing a long-range, high-speed command center with an aircraft that lands on aircraft carriers because it's more flexible. That's exactly what the Pentagon is now asking the Air Force to do. The E-2D Hawkeye may be a marvel of naval aviation, but it was never meant to patrol the skies over Europe, the Pacific, or the Middle East for hours on end. Yet here we are, the USAF, stripped of its E-7 Wedgetail lifeline, being told to adapt a turboprop designed for a 300-mile bubble around a carrier into the nation's primary airborne early warning platform. This isn't just a downgrade, it's a doctrinal earthquake disguised as fiscal pragmatism. And yes, this is actually happening. E-3 Sentry has been the USAF's airborne eyes since 1977. Based on the Boeing 707-320B, it offered unmatched radar coverage, endurance, and global reach, becoming the gold standard for airborne command and control. From Desert Storm to NATO operations in Europe and Pacific deterrence missions, the Sentry was the invisible quarterback of the skies. But time has caught up. Spare parts are scarce, maintenance costs are soaring, and some airframes are older than the pilots who fly them. Allies saw the writing on the wall. Australia, the UK, Turkey, they all adopted the E-7 Wedgetail, a modern 737-based AWACS with aew&c radar, network-centric warfare integration, and proven combat performance. The US even committed to buying 26 E-7s until now. In a single budget cycle, that plan was scrapped. The reason? A strategic pivot towards austere basing and, allegedly, a future space-based command architecture. The result? A 50-year doctrine being torn up and replaced with a carrier-based turboprop. Here's where it gets wild. This decision wasn't born in a war room. It was born in a Senate hearing, announced by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, with Air Force leadership and the Joint Chiefs in the room, and the message was clear: cut costs, delay modernization, and make do. The E-7 Wedgetail? Already combat-proven, already integrated with NATO allies, already in production. But it's expensive. It depends on Boeing's supply chain, and it doesn't feed the political machine as efficiently as a flexible, austere, capable solution. Enter the E-2D Hawkeye, smaller, cheaper, and crucially, already funded and produced for the Navy. No new industrial base, no international dependencies, just a quick retrofit, some new ground crews, and suddenly the Air Force is operating carrier aircraft from desert strips. It's not about what works, it's about what looks decisive in a budget hearing. This isn't just bureaucracy, it's strategic improvisation on steroids. And the pilots, commanders, and taxpayers will pay the price. Let's break it down with cold, hard numbers, because the gap isn't small, it's catastrophic. Radar coverage. E-3, 250 to 300 miles against fighter-sized targets. E-2D, 200 miles, with a smaller scanning volume, despite its advanced APY-9 AESA radar. Speed and endurance? E-3 cruises at 530 miles per hour and loiters 8 to 10 hours without refueling. E-2D tops out at 350 miles an hour, struggles to hit 6 hours even with aerial refueling. Deployment flexibility. E-3 can deploy globally in hours, integrate with NATO AWACS networks, and operate from standard air bases. E-2D, built for carrier decks, requires reinforced tarmac, tailhook recovery systems, and Navy-style maintenance. Translation? In a high-intensity conflict across Europe or the Pacific, the E-2D simply can't keep up. Slower response times, smaller coverage, shorter endurance. It's like replacing a quarterback with a scout. And while the Pentagon claims the E-2D can operate from austere bases, that doesn't fix the fact that it was never meant to replace a strategic command node with a tactical naval asset. History repeats itself, first as tragedy, then as farce. The E-2D stepping in for the E-3 isn't just a technical mismatch, it's a pattern. Remember the Bradley fighting vehicle? The MRAPs rushed into Iraq? All were stopgaps that became long-term solutions, not because they worked, but because politics moved faster than planning. Now, the Air Force is being asked to do the impossible. Make a carrier-based turboprop act like a global command hub. Crews will be overstretched, coverage gaps will emerge, and when seconds count in intercepting a hypersonic threat or coordinating a dogfight, that 150-mile radar deficit could be the difference between victory and disaster. The E-7 Wedgetail could have avoided this circus. It's faster, smarter, and already integrated with allies. But politics won, and once again, operational reality is left to clean up the mess. Let's be clear, the E-2D is a brilliant aircraft for what it was designed. Controlling a carrier strike group within a 300-mile radius, perfect. Operating from forward bases in the Pacific, possible with support. But replacing the E-3 across Europe, the Middle East, and the Indo-Pacific simultaneously, that's not just inefficient, it's operationally reckless. The E-2D lacks the speed to reposition quickly, the endurance to maintain persistent coverage, and the radar footprint to track mass raids or stealth threats at range. It wasn't built for JCAD-2 integration at scale. It wasn't built for NATO-level command, and it certainly wasn't built for the Air Force. This isn't adaptation, it's desperation dressed as innovation. Australia didn't hesitate. They adopted the E-7 Wedgetail and integrated it into their most sensitive operations, including real-world intercepts in the Middle East. The UK is doing the same. Even Turkey uses it. The MESA AESA radar, 360-degree coverage, and seamless data fusion make it the most advanced aew&c platform on the planet. But the US chose to walk away. Not because the E-7 failed, but because it didn't fit the new budget narrative. Stopgaps like the E-2D may save money today, but history shows they cost far more tomorrow, in capability gaps, in risk, and in lives. The lesson is clear: capability should lead, politics should follow. Here, the order is reversed, and now the entire U.S. airborne command structure is flying on borrowed time. So there it is. The E-2D Hawkeye replacing the E-3 Sentry isn't just the downgrade. It's a cautionary tale of how political expediency can override decades of operational logic. Pilots will adapt, crews will improvise, taxpayers will fund it. But the cost won't just be financial. It'll be measured in coverage gaps, delayed warnings, and the quiet realization that the US is betting its air dominance on a carrier-based turboprop. The E-7 Wedgetail could have been the answer, but politics had other plans. If you found this deep dive shocking, insightful, or just plain wild, Hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment with what military aviation topic you want us to tackle next. Your suggestion might just be our next mission. Thanks for watching all the way through. Share this video with that friend who thinks they know military aviation, because even experts are scratching their heads over this one. And don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss an update. For newcomers, welcome to Military Forces Unleashed, where history isn't told by the winners, but by those who are really there. See you in the next briefing.